Vintage magazines, watercolors, and paint pens are all you need to turn a blank page into something colorful and full of personality. Today, I'm going to show you how I take these elements and turn them into mixed media collages, and how you can too. I think I need something. It's dangerous. Nope. Does that work? This works. This type of mixed media collage uses some really easy to source materials. The first one is vintage magazines, although they don't have to be vintage. They could be literally any old piece of paper that you have in your house. There's also watercolors. This is a student watercolor set by Sakura. Ugh, I'm gonna open it. There. See, it's got like a little palette. How? Ah! I dropped you. Okay. Palette. I swear it's easier than this. I'm making this look so hard, but it's not exactly the most one-handed. Okay. That's the inside of it. And then here are my paint pens. I like Posca the best. I have tried a cheaper version of paint pens from Amazon, and I don't like them very much. So far, Posca have been the best ones. I think they're a little spendy though, so if you're not sure if you're like this kind of collage, then I definitely recommend springing for some cheaper options before you go whole hog into Posca land. But, you know, do you. So without any further faffing about, let's get to it. I start off with this magazine from, I believe, the 60s, and luckily the back cover caught my eye, so I didn't even have to do a whole lot of flipping. I love when that happens. I definitely check the back side to see if there's anything on there that I want to save, but luckily it's just another car ad. There were tons of them in the 60s as they were, I think, building the highway system. Anyway, my history is not that great. However, this image really did bring me back to my days learning about American history, and I think that this ad in particular encapsulates that rugged individual persona that many Americans want to believe is a part of our cultural DNA. Out in the wilderness, blue skies, gazing off into the distance. You can almost imagine the sunrise that he's gazing off into with the way the light hits his face. And you know he's probably staring off at some great plain or mountain. I did hesitate at first with the idea of using this guy because of that cigarette in his mouth. I'm very much a product of the DARE program, and anything that seems to potentially glorify drugs or smoking in some way, I get a little this anxious feeling inside. If you are unaware of what the DARE program was, it was essentially curriculum taught in American public schools. I remember learning it in elementary school. Apparently, it was super ineffective in the aggregate. I guess I was one of the few it affected deeply. My next step is to start going through this Life magazine book of old photography. It's in black and white, and I kind of thought that this color photo of this guy sort of against a black and white image would would look nice. I think that despite being in color, his vibe is very old world, and I have a tendency to associate black and white images with an older time period. As I search through the book, I'm placing him on various backgrounds, and I'm thinking about what the background could mean within the context of his presence. This book has tons of interesting imagery. When I found this image of this suburban landscape, I really, really liked the juxtaposition that it sort of, for me, evoked, because he's so rugged and I imagine him in some wilderness. But I guess to me, it points out the fact that the rugged individual has perhaps never existed, at least this romanticized example. And despite the story that we might tell ourselves about who we think we are, we're very much creatures of community. We're more alike than we are different. All right, so you might have been wondering this whole time, this is all nice and good, but where is the multimedia piece of it? And here it is. So in this instance, I thought it would be kind of fun to do this pop of color with this pink Posca marker of the smoke coming out of the cigarette. And I wanted it to sort of trail through the sky and head upward. I know it's not complex, but that's sort of the point for me in this video. I want to encourage people that you don't have to go crazy with it, especially if you're first starting out. You can just try adding a little bit here and there. So I feel like I'm getting close to done, but there's still something missing in this collage. I'm looking for the third piece here, and the concept of a third piece for me has helped a lot in how I think about collage compositions. The third piece is the piece that helps provide context or tension. In this case, we have the guy who's our first piece, and the background, which is our second piece, and together they make an idea, but they need something to work against, something to respond to. And I started thinking about who this guy is. What does he believe? By giving him the background of suburbia, I feel like that's the reality, but this man is not someone who lives in reality. This man is a dreamer, and he believes in his individualism. He believes in his ruggedness. I wanted to find a piece that would give us, the viewer, an idea of what he's dreaming of, what he believes. As always, when I'm looking for the third piece, these are ideas that develop as I go along, and I'm willing to try lots of different things, even if I know that they won't make sense. Sometimes it just helps to try something, anything, and you learn a lot from that. You learn maybe what you don't really like, and that's important, because if you never try something and learn that you absolutely hate it, you'll never know. For my next collage, I'm starting off in my notebook, and the multimedia aspect is immediately clear. I had used my student watercolor set to just paint the heck out of these 2 pages. Sometimes when I'm not sure what to do, I just paint, and I think that this is a really good way to get creative. One of my favorite ways to think about art is that it is a series of creative problem-solving steps. So starting off with a painted watercolor background is an easy way to create a mixed media piece of art. As always, my desk is a bit of a mess, and for me that's a great way to be creative because I start looking around at my desk first to see if anything sparks an idea. Having pieces randomly around like this might seem like a nightmare for other people, but for me, it doesn't stress me out, and instead it creates an opportunity. Whether or not those opportunities actually lead anywhere is a bit beside the point. It's really all about getting started. So as I'm rifling through the pieces that are just sort of available to me, I kind of decided I don't really like any of these pieces, but there was this book of Madonna that was sitting close by since I had recently purchased it. So I started looking through it, and nothing necessarily came of this, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have to look around a bit, see what sparks joy. Eventually I found this image of a cow, and I don't really subscribe to the idea that you should save your best pieces for individual collages. My sketchbook can absolutely be a place for some of my favorite pieces, and it's okay if they don't end up in, something that's more epic. I'm starting to look for my second piece now. Usually the background is a piece in and of itself. In this case, the background is really just more style, not really substance. So I need some more pieces to flesh out this scene. I look through a lot of books. This is one of those instances where things started off really well and I was kind of in the zone, and then I just sort of hit a wall. Eventually, though, I landed on this cake. Because the cow had its tongue out, I loved the idea that it was licking the icing. For the third piece in this collage, I started playing with more of the text pieces that are just sort of hanging out on my desk. The words I chose are "keep reaching for your apple," which, I don't know, sometimes you just need a little encouragement. And there you have it, 2 fun, silly little collages that utilize mixed media in a really accessible way. I'm still exploring this particular style of mixed media collage, so I really don't feel like I've quite found my footing here. I've not made anything today that I'm absolutely gushing over, but I think that's okay. Sometimes it's just about getting in the studio and trying things. Like most things worth doing, sometimes it just takes time and practice to build up your skills and find your footing. If you like this video and you want to hang out with me a little longer in the studio, then check this video out. Or if you're looking for something a little more structured, then check this beginner collage series out. Okay, I think that's it. Bye! See ya!